This is the best in paranormal programming. This is the Paranormal 60 News. Well, heidi, hiddly ho, and welcome back to the show. Yeah, I'm back from Ireland. I just had an amazing time while we were out there in Ireland. I'm going back later on this year, October. I'm going back. Scotland in September. There are still a few open slots for Scotland. If you are interested in going to Haunted Scotland with me, your old pal Dave, then make sure that you check out darknessevents.com. That's darknessevents.com. And it is going to be a good time. I guarantee you that. Not as good as tonight, though. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in the paranormal news crew. Ladies and gentlemen, on location on the bonny shores of Loch Ness, Mr. Greg Lawson. Hello, Greg.
Hey, Dave. It's glad to be here. Yep.
It's glad to be here. It rubs the lotion in. Ladies and gentlemen, from the great state of Tejas, Mr. Eric Folsom. Eric, good to see you, buddy.
It's real easy to just say, good evening, Dave.
Good. It's good. We are very evening today.
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, also from the great state of Texas, we have Martin Vaez. Hi, Marty. How are you, buddy?
Dave, how are you? Missed you. I'm glad to be here. Everywhere.
Words is so hard.
Oh, we're starting off real rough already.
So hard.
He practiced that one.
Goodness. Yeah, this is not easy at all. Guys, let's get started with one quick news piece to mention up front. Join me and Shane Pittman and a new special guest just added today in our Hell in the Cell Joliet State Prison Ghost Hunt coming up August 5th. August 6th, we have 1-day and 2-day VIP tickets available if you would like to join us. Darknessevents.com. Darknessevents.com. August 5th, August 6th, we are going to go to one of America's most haunted jails and prisons in the world. As a matter of fact, guys, I don't know if you know this, but they used to film Prison Break, and they filmed some 24, I guess, and a couple other shows there. And the cast and crew never wanted to be there past dark because so many weird things happened.
I believe
weird things. Yeah, Shane and I will be there. So, and we do have a special guest. I'll mention it here. Chris Fleming is also going to join us. So, medium Chris Fleming, Shane Pittman, myself, all going to be on hand. So, I hope you guys will come out and join us. But let's talk about this. Gentlemen, we had a chance to go to Scotland. Gosh, how many years ago was that now?
5,
7?
6, 7?
I think
2015?
it's 7.
It's been a long time.
7, 8 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
And while we were there, we visited one of Scotland's most haunted location, or not Scotland, Ireland. I'm sorry. That's what I've been meaning to say. Ireland was 7 years ago.
We were trying to go with you. We were trying to go.
Yeah.
With you,
This is Leap Castle,
Leap
Castle. And this was, this is a beautiful castle that the remnants of it, Sean and his wife own this place. They live there. They take care of it. It's an amazing location. Lots of weird stuff. And when we were there, all those years ago, Greg, who was it? Right. Was our which one of our friends caught this photograph? I want to show this.
Tammy Cote.
So as we were taking a picture, you can see above the door is this long window, and captured in this image, you see what looks to be like a vicar standing in the window looking out. Now, I had a chance to actually show this picture this time to Sean, the owner, and he was not surprised. He said that they've seen this priestly-like character there before, guys. For those of you that are having a hard time seeing it, I'll enlarge it a little bit, but you can see him standing there looking out the window. Now, I actually went there, tried to take pictures from multiple angles to recreate this. It was same kind of lighting, everything going on. Greg, I could not replicate this. I think the paranormal detective would have been proud of me because we could not replicate this photograph from any angle I took it at.
I don't doubt it. You know, we spent a lot of time up there. I spent a lot of time in that hallway that leads right up to that window. There's nothing back there that would do that. And if anything, it was outside, but there's no like other buildings or reflection or trees or anything like that.
Well, there are trees. You can see the leaves from the trees, but I was trying to change
not
angles.
In that angle, not at that angle.
Right. And none of them would look anything remotely like this. So that was pretty cool. And I shared that with our team while we were there. But guys, we just caught something I think is even cooler. So during our private investigation of Leap Castle, we went up to the Bloody Chapel. And do you remember the story of the Bloody Chapel, Greg?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Teague and Thaddeus. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the crew a little bit about that?
Okay. So there was a change of guard. The chieftain died. And so you had the oldest brother and a bunch of other siblings, and then the youngest brother, the oldest brother being the person that would naturally take over the clan. The youngest brother being naturally the priest. And so he was actually, the youngest brother was actually waiting in the chapel with the rest of the family for his eldest brother to come in, who was taking over as chieftain. And I don't think they really got along too good together. And the younger brother, the priest, kind of had an agenda, and he had the ear of his family and the people that would come. And so he decided to go ahead and go with mass. And as soon as that happened, eldest brother came in, walked up to the altar there and killed him right on the altar. So
because he was humiliated that they would dare start mass without him, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wasn't that actually just a scene from Game of Thrones?
No, you're thinking of the bloody wedding.
Okay, I just want to make sure you weren't.
Yeah, don't confuse it with the bloody wedding. Come on, Eric.
Wasn't that an episode of Dynasty?
The red wedding. I'm sorry.
Wasn't the bloody wedding a scene from Dynasty?
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. Do you remember that? Do you remember that big series where like everybody got gunned down on Dynasty? It's true. Very strange. Well, look at this, guys. So we're up in
who shot Glenn Levitt.
Right. Yeah, we're up in the Bloody Chapel. It is daylight. You can actually see light. Now, I got to tell you this too, guys. This was very weird. Guess what time sunset was most nights?
I'm going to say like 10 o'clock.
Okay. Marty?
I want to say 10:05, and we're using Price is Right rules here.
All right.
I'll go with
without going over
9:36.
It was almost 10:55 at night.
Wow.
Before the sun set.
Good job, Marty. 11 o'clock.
That's bonkers. So it's light. We're in the Bloody Chapel. We're kind of doing some EVP work with a spirit box and such. And one of the girls, Tracy, captured this photograph. So you see us standing there, and you see this black amorphous figure standing in the middle. So that's the image. Now I enlarged it so you could see it. And you can actually, if you see the picture, you can actually see what looked to be feet. And this thing is in a dark cloak. I showed this to Sean. Again, he was not surprised. I am in motion, so that's why my one leg is kind of kicked up as I'm walking, so it's not there. So people could say, well, there is motion in this. But there was nobody wearing all black, and nobody had a cloak over their head. This thing was there in the chapel with us, and she caught it real time.
That it almost looks like it's crouching over, doesn't it? Like its shoulders, and then you can see kind of a head bending over.
Right, like maybe it's in repose, like a monk or a priest reading up there.
Or it could be the entity too. There's an entity there.
Did anybody feel anything in the room, Dave?
Well, we were getting a couple of weird EVP and some words popping up through the spirit box, but we never got any kind of heavy feeling. Maybe it's again because we were in a well-lit room. As you can see, sunlight. This is, do you see the amount of sun coming in through that window? That's about 9:30 at night. So we were getting a lot of light in there. Beautiful, but we caught that. So I was very excited. I wanted to share that with you guys before we went off on our tangent tonight and got started.
So she was just taking photographs inside like we all do when we're there. Was that on an iPhone?
I believe it was on her Droid, because we've been having a conversation back and forth. Here's the weird thing. Her phone crapped out. She lost every photograph now. So luckily she had shared those photographs with us, and I was able to grab it from Facebook when she had shared it in our group messaging during the trip. So we were able to, all of us on the trip, there were 25 of us. We've been sharing our pictures. So she was able to recapture a lot of the memories she lost, but it was a beautiful time. Amazing trip. A lot of cool stuff we got to see. We didn't hit up any of the distilleries on this trip. So Eric,
What?
you dodged a bullet. Well, people were really into, let's hit the paranormal up. And I will tell you, these new trips that we're doing, these are extremely high quality hotels. Nice meals we're going to. We ate at one place that is a well-known bar pub, and it's also a funeral home. I was a little worried about eating the meat that day. I'm going to be honest with you.
They do a
I
barbecue
can
there.
see how you can feel that way. Yeah.
We got a couple of those in Texas down here and do barbecue.
Wow.
Gas
Wow.
station.
Very strange.
Could-
It is
Could
very
you
strange.
see the different? You see the funeral home from the bar?
No, they deal with that in a different part, but like they were having the reception for the funeral. But I guess this has been in their family for 8 or 9 generations.
Wow.
It's very well known, very cool. It was definitely something unique, that's for sure.
Well, hey, when I was in Korea, I drank beer that had formaldehyde in it.
That's right. Yeah.
You remember that, Greg?
San Miguel. Yeah. San
OB,
Miguel.
not OB beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, OB. Yeah,
Do
good
they
stuff.
not like the military over there or what?
It's just it's just
extends
the way
the
it
shelf
is.
life a little bit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Here, I'll give you one more look. That's the image.
Did she notice it as soon as she took it, or was it later that she went back?
Yeah.
And looked at her photos?
Yeah, I guess they noticed it right. She noticed something. She noticed it and brought it up to us on the bus and showed it to everybody.
Wow.
So pretty cool. Just great foreign adventures we've got coming up. Scotland, like I said, September. We still have some slots open. Ireland in October, completely sold out. As a matter of fact, we're oversold on that. And then our next big trip is Egypt in February 2023. It is the 100th anniversary of the finding of King Tut's tomb, and we are going to be investigating two of the Great Pyramids, and we are doing a seance inside Howard Carter's home, the man responsible for the finding of King Tut's tomb. So this is going to be amazing.
This is quality. This is quality,
insane,
Dave.
Mr. Schrader.
I don't brag, but I'm a pretty big deal.
That's quite a humble brag you have there. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big deal. Now, for those of you that are listening to the audio of this and wish you could see these photographs, well, then just pop on over to the Paranormal 60 YouTube channel and check out the newest episode. And you just watch the first 5 minutes. You'll see those photographs. You can catch up with us that way. Let's get started. We've got a lot of news to cover tonight. And we're already 13 minutes in. A study.
Uh-oh.
I love this.
Here we go.
It just starts off, right? A study finds that people who believe in astrology are less intelligent and more narcissistic.
Wow.
While astrology
I'll take one
might
of
be
those.
on the rise, yeah, right. While astrology might be on the rise amongst Gen Z and millennials, researchers say that people who believe in star signs are just less intelligent and much more narcissistic. We all know that one person that uses their astrology sign as a scapegoat for terrible behavior, but a study published in Personality and Individual Differences says there's a reason behind this. The study of the planets and moons correlating with our personality is due to higher levels of narcissism, not to mention a lower IQ. The team of scientists at Lund University in Sweden, so that's where you send the hate mail, folks, Lund University in Sweden cultivated 264 responses from an online questionnaire where they observed narcissism and intelligence through a series of assessments. The main results showed that the higher the narcissism, perhaps surprisingly, the higher the belief in astrology, the team wrote. The positive association is possibly due to the self-centered worldview uniting them, though this might be examined in further research. They also added that the higher the level of intelligence, the lower the level of belief in astrology. So if you're a believer in astrology, not among the brightest people
of our audience right there.
Well, that's not our. Hey, I'm just reporting it. I'm not the one saying that this is my belief. Each individual who participated in the research underwent the belief in astrology inventory known as the IPIP 30.
Right
Oh, I
there.
want to party with these people.
Personality scale, and the short dark triad
That's
of
great.
personality, which is the SD3 narcissism assessment, according to Psychology Today. Intelligence was measured by 4 three-dimensional rotation items, measuring visual spatial reasoning, derived from the International Cognitive Ability Resource. Scientists concluded that a strong belief in horoscopes lacked the ability of critical thinking, and that it could lead to believing in other pseudosciences. They wrote, though embracing astrology might seem innocent, it's nonetheless possible that it facilitates uncritical thinking and favors biases. Further belief in astrology correlates with belief in multiple other pseudosciences, as well as with belief in conspiracy theories, which indicates that it might not be all that harmless. They also expressed that the more individuals try to highlight their uniqueness, the more it could lead to more egocentric view of the world, with the potential of a generation of growing narcissists looming. I find that interesting because it's like they're putting people down that want to feel special, yet we're giving participation ribbons to everybody because everybody's special. So we're breeding a hostile breeding ground of narcissists by giving them awards for everything.
That's
Wayne's
exactly where my head
asking.
was at.
Yeah, Wayne's asking if that's a family photo.
Whose family?
It is of Greg's, but
Oh,
we had to dig deep
What
for
the
it. What?
hell?
That wasn't it?
You know,
Well-
Dave, I know you put a lot
Ah.
of time into that story and a lot of
Mhm,
research, but it was just so hard to hear what you were saying with that picture of that family feud, I guess, going
I thought
on.
I thought it was just hard for you to hear a guy that can read an entire story without stumbling.
Yeah, that too. Oh man.
Wow.
Well,
Oh, stop it. I'm a narcissist who believes in astrology. Speaking
Yeah.
of astrology, our good
Hey.
friend, comedian Karen Rontkowski did a video this week. And again, folks, she's a comedian who does tarot reading and other things, but she made an interesting video on how to be an astrologer. Let's take a look.
First of all, try and look odd. This shows that you have access to other dimensions and places that people that look nice can't go. You want your look to be timeless, as in you just got up and you don't know what time it is. Say a lot of things that mean 2 different things, like it's good to stay grounded when you're flying to the stars. Sometimes I think clouds are following me. When doing these live, I like to go into the crowd and put a Cheerio on someone's head and say, "You've been chosen. Wait for the spaceship." Be sure and say a lot of things that people won't understand, like Saturn is now conjunct on the square corner of the dimension of Uranus. And you know what that means. It means we're all going to be full of snappers. Remember to tell people things like, "The future is coming." I think my ficus plant is in Aries.
I love it. Paranormal Karen. We do have a link up for her. You can follow. She does a lot of great videos. She is a paranormal investigator. She loves astrology. She has a lot of astrological friends. I feel like I'm like, oh no, I've got a black friend. It's okay if I make those jokes. She actually is. Well, that's what she said. Well, if you're going to play that, make sure people realize I have friends that are astrologers. I said it's just like that. Oh no, I could crack jokes about blacks and Jews because I've got friends, right? But it's funny. She's good-hearted, sweetheart. She does tarot readings and comedy. So if you get a chance, check out Paranormal Karen on the link below. All right.
Does she do conferences, Dave?
Yes, she does. She's been in a
very
couple
cool.
of the different paranormal conferences.
Wow.
So let's jump back in, shall we? Because it is time for more information on astrology. Eric, you are up.
Well, this story is creepy. As a person who loves analytics and data, wait till you get a load of this. Here we go. Astrology has a creepy, accurate explanation for serial killers. Wait till the punchline at the end, folks.
Okay.
You know how the FBI has an entire team dedicated to psychologically profiling murderers? Well, maybe they should just use astrology instead. It's cheaper and bizarrely on point. In the zodiac, the 12 signs are regrouped by something called modality. Each sign is either a fixed sign, mutable sign, or cardinal sign, and each of these modalities has a different set of personality traits that go along with it. And it turns out a sign's modality has a little something to do with murder.
Dun, dun,
Gemini.
dun.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Gemini Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces are known as the mutable signs, meaning their signs fall at the end of a season. For example, Gemini at the end of spring, Virgo at the end of summer, Sagittarius at the end of fall, and Pisces at the end of winter. Back in 2008, a Dutch statistician named Dr. Jan Roos looked at the birth charts of almost 300 serial killers and found that serial killers are frequently born when celestial factors are in mutable signs: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So, what are the traits of these mutable signs? Well, they're known to be adaptable and frantically indecisive. Sounds like a serial killer. They're like chameleons, experiencing episodic and frequent change throughout their lives. Combine that with these signs' energies and personalities, and you got a recipe for people living double lives. So, let me give you a few examples here. Geminis.
Please do.
Oh, wow. You guys are on it tonight.
Yeah.
Geminis are symbolized by twins, Basil, and known for having multiple sides or hidden personalities. A charming outer persona and a darker, disturbed inner one.
Are any of you guys Geminis? Are any of you Geminis?
I am not.
Negative.
Okay, we're safe. Greg?
If you are, put it in the chat, because at the end I'll give you the what that means.
Dakota ring.
All right. Greg, are you a Gemini?
I am not. I'm a Pisces.
Okay, good. Oh, all
right. We'll go to you last.
And it always makes sense. It's making sense.
All right.
Virgos are meticulous and systematic. They live for patterns and routine. Serial killers tend to commit acts that follow a characteristic, predictable behavior pattern. Also, Virgos are good at cleaning up after.
Darn burgers.
I like some fries with my burgers.
That was not me not knowing how to read. That was me just drinking. That's very different.
Nice.
Virgos are good at cleaning up after themselves. Do serial killers clean up after themselves?
Some of them are very good. Dexter does. Yeah.
Dexter. He's not a serial killer.
Yeah.
He's a friend.
Yeah.
Sagittariuses are charismatic and thrive on adventure. It makes sense that
I'm a Sagittarius.
Are you? Okay.
Sagittarius.
That's the way it's written. It makes sense that thrill-seeking sags, as I like to call them, might be more likely to take a chance on going through with a heinous, with an H, act. They are impulsive and spontaneous and don't always think things through.
Just remember
and finally,
that, please.
we have Greg and his Pisces, who are empathetic, but that empathy could backfire. Hence, they have the ability to feel collective pain, but then they can get overwhelmed and turn way inward as a coping mechanism.
I feel very bad for you, but only you can be mine. That's right.
So, anybody that knows anything about serial killers knows the famous ones. So I'm going to read off some of the famous ones.
Okay.
Ready? Ted Bundy, Sagittarius. Jeffrey Dahmer, Gemini. John Wayne Gacy, a Greg Lawson Pisces. Andrew Cunanan. I'm not sure he's a serial killer. Wasn't he the one that killed the famous designer?
But he killed like a couple of different people on his way to killing Versace.
Yeah.
That's a serial right there, buddy.
Versace. He's a Virgo. Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, is a Gemini. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, another friend of the Lawson's Pisces. The Boston Strangler, Albert DeSalvo, Virgo. Randy Kraft, Pisces. Larry Eiler, Sagittarius. And the Bind, Torture, Kill is a Pisces.
Dennis Rader. Yeah,
Dennis Rader. So you think we just listed off 15 names, and they all fall into one of those four modalities.
All right. So wait, now, so are any of us Virgos?
No.
Any of us Geminis? Nope. So who? I'm the Sagittarius. Oh, you're a Pisces. Greg, he threw you. He threw you under the bus
as he was driving the bus. Knowing
so the colonel's the only one that's safe amongst us.
Yep, I'm a Leo.
Yeah. And Leo. You know what they say? If you believe that, though,
Oh,
part of the family tree.
I'm not sure if that guy has abs or ribs. I'm not sure which that is.
A little bit
What
of
is
both.
this?
He's got
Story behind
splinters.
that.
I know that.
Is there any story behind that picture?
I don't think we should write one. I think
there
our
doesn't need
mind
to be.
plays
It writes
its own
itself.
tale. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a beautiful shot right
That's some
there.
serious
All right,
splinter action.
Colonel, where are we going to start first?
Well, Dave, Oak Ridge National Labs is trying to open a door to the parallel universe. Scientists at Oak Ridge National Labs are trying to discover a parallel universe. Now, after several years of searching, they have revealed what they found so far. Yep, the team of scientists have been searching for evidence of a right-handed version of our left-handed universe. Specifically, scientists said they are looking for a mirror neutron by sending neutrons, one of the particles that makes up atoms, into a tube with a blocked end, then seeing if any make it to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've got a block
Yeah.
tube?
Yeah, they got to get that checked out. Let's see here. Oak Ridge National Lab researchers are comparing.
Don't take the colonel off. Don't take the colonel off task.
He was doing
Yeah.
so well.
Boy.
Yeah. What did I do that time?
You just lost your way, but you're back.
Yeah,
You're back,
I'm
Colonel.
back.
All right.
Okay. So
Mhm.
they're looking at comparing. Stand by one. You guys threw me off. These researchers.
I'm glad we practiced.
Are comparing. Listen, I practice. Researchers are comparing what
Not
they're
bad.
looking for to Stranger Things upside down.
Oh.
So the question I get is the most is, were we successful in opening the portal? And unfortunately, no, we did not find any evidence of parallel universes or new interactions with the neutron and the dark sector, scientist Lee Brosard said. The search isn't over, however. Scientists said they have more sensitive experiments planned, so we may learn more in the years to come.
Here's an actual photograph of one of the new experiments.
I know, yeah. The man is sitting on a stack of neutrons right now, and he's
a pile
about-
of wood.
yeah.
Who wouldn't have a pile of wood with those two hotties around?
Oh yeah, I hear what you're saying there.
Thank you.
It's after
Thank
10 o'clock. You can say that.
Yeah.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting late, and it's time to take things overseas. We are looking at the Loch of Loch Ness. Yeah, there it is. Look at him.
That's
We've
right.
sent him all the way out there. I don't know how he's plugged in, but he is, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
is here to report for us his next story. All right, Greg, where are we off to?
And it's
I
2
got-
a.m. out there, Greg?
I got a sat phone. Yeah, man, the sun's still up, and I don't know.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, all right. So let's talk about Loch Ness. Loch Ness monster may live in Stranger Things style parallel universe, just like
Have
the
a drink,
Colonel said.
everybody.
Yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
Jesus
Mhm.
Christ.
That's a pretty damn good picture. I wonder why I've never seen that one. Usually you see that one that they're like
That's a good one.
8 miles away. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, this
yeah.
is what he looks like up close.
He was out sunbathing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The search for Loch Ness monster has gone on for decades, with the true identity of the legendary beast as much a mystery as how it came to live in the loch. One expert claims it could spend most of its time hiding in a parallel universe like the hit show Stranger Things. Y'all see a kind of a theme going here? All right, so
If you say so.
Netflix?
the creature has captivated the imaginations of the general public ever since the most famous early sighting in May 1933, when the Inverness Courier reported a local couple seeing an enormous animal rolling and plunging on the surface. That would be the surface of the loch, right? But as of yet, as of yet, despite numerous theories being put forward, no one has been able to prove the monster exists. Now, one paranormal investigator thinks he knows there hasn't been any evidence found of the beast, and it involves a Netflix nostalgia hit, Stranger Things. The gang of heroes face off against creatures from a pocket universe known as the Upside Down. And Ron Halliday believes Ron Halliday believes this could be a clue as to where Nessie disappears. He says, scientists have suggested that there could be other universes, and somehow our world interacts with these worlds through portals. With the Loch Ness monster, People could be seeing a dinosaur that existed in the past. They may see something that looks solid, but isn't actually in our universe. That can spread across whole ranges of things, such as UFO sightings. Ron, 72, thinks our legend could be akin to that of the Duffer Brothers and Dungeons and Dragons creatures such as the Demogorgon and Demodogs. He added, some people are more psychic than others. They can pick up these experiences while others may not. It's possible that they walk into these portals without realizing it, and then they can see these things.
Sure.
They are having genuine experiences. In a way, this is speculation, of course. But in my mind, it does provide an explanation to a whole range of paranormal phenomena. This theory differs from one that surfaced a few years ago, which is in 2007, a report gained notoriety after it suggested that the giant beast could actually just be a huge frog. Yeah. Huge
Come
frog.
on.
Hi-yo,
No, that's what they
Herman
said.
Frog here.
Did they see that picture that you just put up? That's not a huge frog. That's
what they said.
Look at
Yep.
there. Yeah.
And
Was that was
That's not a
was
frog.
that the Russian Kermit the Frog? I just heard. That's what they said.
He's in that part of the world. That
Hi-yo,
would
comrade. Yeah.
and man, it's balmy here.
I see the
Got that
sweat on
wind
your
coming off the
forehead.
Loch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Flop sweat.
2005, a team
Yes.
from the United States based Sea Trepid Incorporated performed a full deep water scan of the Loch and in hopes of finding the mysterious Nessie. But all they found was a frog living at an astonishing 325 feet deep in the water. So that's it from Loch Ness, folks. Thanks a lot.
Well, we're not done with you yet. Let's
Oh,
look at this.
okay.
Now, I have two pieces of evidence to share. This one showed up when we were doing some research looking for this. I have not seen this footage before, but this is pretty compelling. And it's not a joke, guys. Look at this and let me know what you thoughts are. Can you see that as it's
Yeah.
coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
is
looks very
crazy.
much like a plesiosaur. There
Oh,
it is
yeah?
again. It's coming up. They do it 3 times here, each one a little slower. You can see it.
Look at him go.
Right. And then here it is. Here it is a little bit closer. As you can see him coming up to the top.
Look at that.
That is crazy right there.
Yeah.
See,
That is
wow,
one big
now we
ass-
can actually see legs.
Yeah.
really
You
slow.
can
Yeah.
see. Yeah. I thought that was a great piece of footage. But, gentlemen, and I use that term very loosely,
Oh, wow.
Understood.
you remember when we were in Scotland, I don't know why there's even a debate about the fact of does Nessie exist when we have got evidence like
I
this.
remember. Yeah.
Oh,
Huh?
my God.
Look at
that.
I mean, for
Look
God's
at the-
sakes, I
look at the-
wrangled him.
Look at the neck on that thing.
That
Yeah.
is one enormous cut.
Why don't you ever
Investigator?
see-
Investigator, thank you.
That
Yeah.
would have been
Yeah.
better if that was a pile of wood.
Could
Yeah.
you put a pile of wood under you? That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I'm starting to see the relationship here.
Yeah, can you? Look at that. There's
Mhm.
there's one, there's another. There's one.
How did you get
there's
him out of
another.
the water?
If I'm going to be honest with you, Twinkies.
Yeah.
You remember
You know,
that Greg was
hey.
there. I was just like, and
Take
shaking
yeah.
a Twinkie.
And look at he's looking
And-
back with affection and love for you
Yeah.
there, Dave.
Yes.
Hey,
It's like,
yeah,
hey,
right.
Dave Schrader, how are you? Good to see you,
Watch
buddy.
where your hand is,
Big
pal.
fan of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why did the Nessie cross the road? Look at that. Go
Uh-oh,
back to that.
uh-oh.
We're getting there.
I don't know.
We're
Why?
going there.
Everybody.
No,
Why?
no, no. Well, I don't know. There was a
Somebody-
picture of you crossing the road with Nessie, so I just
That
Thought
was
I'd
it.
throw
We were
that.
heading
You
back to
could
the water.
capture
We're going
that.
for a dip.
look at the size of this.
Speaking of a
ice
dip,
ball.
I'm gonna let Greg take off from Loch Ness.
Oh,
He's jet setting to his
Where's he
next
going?
location.
Yeah.
You'll find out. Just be patient. Be patient.
Why
But
is it-
first,
Concord back just to make sure he got there too.
Why
Mhm.
is it that he gets all the travel dollars for this show?
he is military and law enforcement, so he can write it all off.
Okay.
You know, it's just our taxpayer money
That's a good point.
at play here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of taxpayer money, let's get started, Eric. Where are we going with you, sir?
We are going actually to discover wild America,
Mhm.
follow Bigfoot's mythical steps. Some
Mm.
Bigfoot.
No, but you see
There's
his
some
big feet
mythical
behind him.
steps behind it though. Yeah,
We'll
That's
use
right.
those.
Good eye, Marty.
Here we go.
rather mythical.
He's the colonel.
Yeah.
To skeptics, Bigfoot sightings in North American forests are evidence of a collective delusion.
Mm-hmm.
To cryptozoologists, people who search for mythical creatures, including Scotland's Loch Ness monster and Latin America's, my favorite, chupacabra, they represent a nearly universal desire to understand the unknown. Whether people believe in the beast or not, trying to track them down, or going Bigfooting, as those of us in the industry call it, offers an excellent opportunity to explore America's off-the-beaten-path places. I've looked for Sasquatches in 46 states and 5 continents, says Cliff Barackman here on the screen, a Bigfoot investigator and the owner of the North American Bigfoot Center. The Sierra Nevada, the tundra of Alaska, the craggy river bottoms of South Dakota. Sasquatches live in wonderful wild areas. Although investigators have yet to prove Bigfoot's existence, organizations such as the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization compile and map alleged Bigfoot sightings, investigating each report and labeling it based on its credibility.
Yeah, let's all have a drink as you lobble on with this story.
Lobble on, sir.
I'd like to try to say that I do that intentionally so all of you can take a break and drink. Sadly, that was not intentional.
Not intentional at
That
all.
was not the case.
Now let's see if you can find your spot in the story again.
Listen, I'm not like the colonel. I don't get lost. I got this, buddy.
All
Now,
right.
where was I? Hold on. Where was I? Hey,
all
he's supposed to be gone. Cut him off again. The guy in the lower
Yeah,
right.
that guy below.
I can't
He's
help
not
it.
there
He makes his way around the world. Next,
Their research often serves as a guide, bringing travelers to regions far less traveled. From the forests of the Pacific Northwest to the remote pine flatwoods in central Florida, destinations where an elusive ape-like creature has reportedly been spotted are emblematic, that's a big word, of diversity and breadth of America's beautiful places. Here's why searching for Bigfoot is one of the best ways to get to know the lesser explored regions of the U.S. and how travelers could play a key role in preserving their lore.
Oh,
have a
geez.
sip, everybody. Wow.
Yeah.
No, they could have been in love too. Come on,
Listen.
now, give him a break.
When this show is over and everybody's feeling frisky because of my mess-ups, you just remember that.
Yes, yeah.
That's
Thank
right.
him. You can thank him later.
Eric the Impregnator.
Please, somebody make a shirt.
Yes, I will. All right.
Not you. All right. Searching for Bigfoot allows adventurers to connect with something bigger than themselves and believe there is still something magical and unknown about America's wild spaces. Bigfoot preserves some of the wonder of childhood and some of the magic of the 18th and 19th centuries of exploration, says Peter Dendel, a professor of folklore. I would love to be one of those at Penn State Monalto. Before the 19th century, ooh, look at that. That's
Look
a
at
good
him
photo.
go.
Oh man,
Man, for those of you listening, you're missing out on a heck of a
you
photo
have
here.
got to watch this.
Before the 19th century, when stories about the mysterious ape man began circulating in the American West, a rich oral tradition of Sasquatch stories among indigenous communities tells of a nearly supernatural being lurking in the woods. This guy is getting serious play tonight.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
In
my
some
God.
legends, Sasquatch is an object of fear. At
Yeah.
other times, a benevolent force. But their stories are always reverential. Another enormous
man.
word.
I would
Wow.
have messed that up 4 ways to say
I think we should all have a drink because the colonel would have messed that up.
Oh, fine. All right.
Which is reverential
All right.
by drinking to him. I like that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bigfoot stories, at their core, offer a pathway towards a paradigm shift in our relationship with the natural world.
Hey.
In both childhood and earlier centuries, humans tended to operate under the belief that the natural world was infinitely vast. Part of that belief absolves us of any responsibility to act as a responsible steward of the land. True. Spending time in the woods connects you with something you forgot you had a connection to. We can vote to save public land, finding a balance between the needs of society and the needs of the wildlife. And by doing that, we'll accidentally help ourselves.
Oh,
That's
I like
great,
that.
Eric. That was a good one.
That was
Yeah,
good,
that
right?
was a good
A lot
one.
of big
Cheers.
words. Messed up the 4-letter word, lore versus love.
No,
No
but you really
worries.
meant love. You really meant throwing love out to.
let's throw a little
Our
love out
audience.
right now.
I'm Cliff Barrickman, and I've found Bigfoot and beyond at the Oregon Bigfoot Festival and beyond at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds. Meet me and other cryptozoology experts like Jason Hawes of Ghost Hunters, psychic medium Sarah Lemos, Travel Channel's David Schrader, and more. Don't miss this one-day event, the Oregon Bigfoot Festival and beyond, at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds. Get tickets today.
Oregon Bigfoot Festival, come on, come on.
I did not
Very
put
excited.
together earlier commercials. That was the same guy.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I got to admit,
Yep.
I like the earlier commercial better.
I do
Yeah, that was a
too.
good
But
one.
you know
That was a
what?
good
We're getting closer. I just wanted to make a mention. Also, New Jersey Para-Unity Conference is coming up in a few weeks. Again, all these great events are at darknessevents.com. Darknessevents.com. Shh, wait, guys. Did you hear that?
It's time now for ParaTunes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you got
All
me
right,
on
we
that
got
one,
a-
Dave.
Yeah, we got a brand new ParaTune coming out, Back from the Dead by Lily E. Gray.
My head is foggy, and I can't open up my eyes. Feeling trapped and groggy, can no one hear my guide? It's black, I can't see, not an inch to move to my left or right, reaching into the void. What drags as I emerge into the night? Rise, 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 you know what you have to do. Rise, 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 hello black skies. Rise, 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 you know what you have to do. As the night crawls in, I'm coming for you. Going on my baby, yes I have risen. May the living be my slave, 'cause I have risen. You can't believe you're right, but I have risen. There's no heaven in the sky, so I am back from the dead, still alive. Yes, I have risen, looking for my bride. 'Cause I have risen, looking to my eyes. I have risen, there's no heaven in the sky, so I am back from the dead. Walking, dead ringer for the boys to know. Dead man stalking, take heed at night where you go. Every little sound, I see it, make you jump. Don't be afraid, I'm just the things that go on. Rise, 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 you know what you have to do. Rise, 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 goodbye blue skies. Rise, 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 you know what you have to do. As the night crawls in, I'm coming for you. Going on my grave, yes I have risen. May the living be my slave, 'cause I have risen. You can't believe you're right, but I have risen. There's no heaven in the sky, so I am back from the dead, still alive. Yes, I have risen, looking for my bride. 'Cause I have risen, looking to my eyes. I have risen, there's no heaven in the sky, so I am back from the dead. I'll make you my kind when I sink my teeth in. I'll make you my bride as I sink my teeth in. I'll make you my kind when I sink my teeth in. Now you know. Crawling on my grave, yes I have risen. May the living be my slave, 'cause I have risen. Now you can't believe you're right, but I have risen. There's no heaven in the sky, so why? Back from the dead, you're still alive. Yes I have risen, looking for my bride. 'Cause I have risen, look into my eyes. I have risen, there's no heaven in the sky, so why? Back from the dead, roll on my grave. Yes I have risen, may the living be my slave. 'Cause I have risen, you can't believe you're right, but I have risen, there's no heaven in the sky, so why? Back from the dead, you're still alive. Yes I have risen, looking for my bride. 'Cause I have risen,
I like it.
Good. Yeah. Good song.
You
That was
said Lily
scary.
E. Gray. I figured it was
Back
going to be
from the
a
dead.
female, right? Lily
There
Gray
you
figured
go.
to be a female. So do you
There
guys
you
know
go,
what the
being all
story is
sexist.
behind that name?
Oh,
Again,
what's the deal with you and your pronouns, man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
get it straight, yo.
Come on.
So
It
could be
Lily E.
anybody.
Gray. I looked it up while the song was going. I thought it was a great song.
Yes.
And so Lily E. Gray is a gravestone in Salt Lake City. And
That's
on the
right.
gravestone, oh, you know this?
Dave and I've been there. Cheers, Dave.
True.
Been to the
Really?
gravestone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, for
Come
those
on,
of
Eric.
that-
You haven't been to the gravestone?
Come on, man.
Finish
uninformed-
the story.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
the uninformed. So I've got a picture of the gravestone here. It says Lily E. Gray, June 6th, 1881, November 14th, 1958, victim of the beast, 666.
That's right.
What?
Yeah. It's
What
a very
the
famous headstone.
heck?
Greg and I went out on a mandate to find it.
No, we sure did.
Ooh.
Yep. We found it too.
Yeah, we
And
did.
there were several other people walking around the graveyard looking for the same thing.
Now I
it
know where
turns
you got
out-
that picture from.
That's right. Here's the story behind it. Is
All
the
right.
husband was just a smartass. Wasn't that what we were told, Greg?
Yeah,
he was just
he's a jackass.
he was just trying
That's
to
what it
put
said,
something on
yeah.
there he thought would be funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. Speaking of funny, ladies and gentlemen, the
Speaking of
Colonel.
What?
All right, Colonel. Yeah, where are we
All
going
right,
next, sir?
Here we go.
Well, Amazon Alexa is being taught to speak in your dead relative's voice.
What?
Nathan
Okay.
Kamal reports that Amazon is one of the biggest companies in the world and has interest in basically every aspect of human life at this point. And in one of its more bizarre and creepy moves, Amazon has announced it is developing technology to enable its Alexa devices to be able to imitate the voices of, get this, deceased people. Yep.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Don't
More
want that.
specifically, Eric, Alexa devices are expected to be able to listen to human voices and use artificial intelligence to flawlessly imitate.
It's funny that you messed up that word. You know that, right?
I know, yeah, I know.
Okay. Oh.
There you go. The
All
company is really promoting the idea that consumers would like to hear dead people talk at them through their virtual assistants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Nope. The plans for this new developing tech were unveiled at Amazon's Machine Learning, Automation, Robots, and Space Conference, with the idea being directly promoted that this was a way for Alexa to make memories last. Yeah, in a creepy and odd way.
You are so racist to ghosts.
Yeah,
so
I know.
racist.
I know.
Just let them
I gotta-
be, man.
I
I
got to
don't think
stop
ghosts
that.
are a race of people, are they?
They could be.
They're the undead or the dead.
That is
Wow.
the race. Okay. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Undead.
Right. I'm just a right to afterlifer, so ignore me. Yeah.
That was on that survey right below. Yeah, the races part.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. The plans
Well-
for this. Yep. The technology is. I don't know.
Greg,
I don't know,
Greg, it's just
I don't
when,
know,
when it
Greg.
comes to the Colonel, it's best just to nod and smile.
Well, Greg will throw out stuff like, "Hey, and I just don't understand.
Those
I'm
things mean
confused.
things to Greg.
They do somehow.
Hey, Marty, he's just speaking the language of his people. All right, go
Okay.
on, Marty.
Going on, the technology is being developed by Amazon so that Alexa can use AI to imitate the voice of an individual after listening to it for about a minute. Reportedly, Amazon Alexa team senior vice president Rohit Prasad played a video of a child asking the device, "Can grandma finish reading me The Wizard of Oz?" At which point the virtual assistant switches voices to an elderly woman and begins reading the classic children's book. Perhaps the most bizarre aspect of Amazon developing the technology for Alexa to speak in the voice of the dead. It can be speculated that Amazon might be promoting this particular aspect of Alexa as a way to tug at the heartstrings of consumers as a marketing technique. If not, it could raise questions about the abilities of Alexa being used to deep fake voices or replicate the voices of individuals in case a large entertainment content companies company wants to say flawlessly imitate the voice of a deceased actor in a new project. Amazon,
or maybe have your president say something he didn't say, or an actor or somebody you disagree with. Yeah.
Amazon did not reveal how far along the development of this new dead voice Alexa feature might be, or when they plan to unroll it, but things could start getting a whole lot more creepy soon. You know, this kind of reminds me of all that, like they bring those actors back up that have been dead for like 10 years.
Fake.
Yeah.
See, this is what I will say. I am psyched about it because I would be okay with this. Think about this right now. All right. Everybody just put yourself in this headspace. Think of somebody you love that you've lost. Now, I want you to think of somebody like Humphrey Bogart. I bet you can think of what his voice sounds like. Maybe Jim Carrey. You could think of what Jim Carrey's voice sounds like.
We haven't
How
lost
about, how about,
Greg?
Ernest from, remember? Hi, Vern. Remember?
He was on the wood pile.
Picture these, you could picture those voices in your head, but I can't remember my mom's voice. She raised me for 50 years. I heard her and spoke to her almost daily, but I can't hear that voice. So to me, I think it would be a comfort. I've got a couple of recordings of my mom. If all it needs is a 1-minute sample, and we could theoretically talk to our dead loved ones, for people that are grieving, it may be a healthy process. There's unhealthy to all things. Even psychics say people get too addicted to coming to them. But I don't know. I think it might bring me some peace and solace to hear. I'd love to set the alarm to my mom's voice telling me to wake up every morning like when I was a kid. David, get up. It's time to go to school. Or I'd just love to hear that coming back. Or having my mom read a story to my grandchildren. So I think there's some interesting technology to that. Now, taking it on to the other side with the entertainment value, I'm all for doing a deep fake. I would love to see a movie like, I've mentioned this before, like The Godfather, redone with Jimmy Cagney, James Robinson. What is it? I can't think of his name. Edward G. Robinson. Right?
James Earl Jones.
Yeah, James Earl Jones, even throw him in. It'd be great to see like all the classic gangsters, and then you've got all of that audio that you could fit in, and then have them read the scripts. It would be interesting to see a movie remade with classic characters and do these things. I just think it'd be cool to examine that aspect of it. Yeah. So that's my take on it. And boy, that'd be cheap entertainment. I would think they could do that pretty easily.
So let me ask you a question, Dave. Why do you think you don't remember your mother's voice? That's very interesting to me.
I've got another knowledge bomb to drop on you in a second, but I don't know. Okay, think of somebody that you all love that's gone. Can you remember their voice right now? Marty?
I have trouble remembering my father's voice. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he raised you. He was part of your life.
Right.
Eric, how about you? I mean, if you think about somebody that's passed.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, right? So for someone who has passed, if you have videos of them, you probably have a better chance of remembering that voice because you can play those videos back. So like the oldest person ever passed away in my life would be my grandfather. And I have videos of him that I watch from time to time, so I can still hear his voice. But, Marty, you make a good point. Do you have any videos with your father?
No, really. No, I don't really. Yeah. So that might be a reason why.
There's nobody that has passed that I know that I don't remember their voice, but it's probably because I'm so much younger than the rest of you that I have videos.
I think the word you were looking for is drunker than the rest of us.
Right.
Drunker. So I hear voices and I think it's theirs. But
there you go. I just hear over and over what my grandpappy used to say. Get out of the bathroom and give somebody else a chance.
Yeah.
Out of the well.
That's deep.
That is
deep.
Get out of the
See,
well.
I can't remember my mom's voice. Now I've got snippets of her from being on my radio show, and I play it back, but I hear it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my mom. A week later, it's gone. But I can remember other voices, musicians' voices, actors' voices, things like that. And it's just like, wow, why can't I recall that? So it's very strange to me. So that's why I said it would be a comfort to me. All right, before we move on to our next story, let me drop one other weird bomb to you. Think about your dreams. Think about your dreams.
There we go.
The good ones or the
How
dirty
many of you ever remember having a cell phone in your dream?
Never.
Never.
It's something we can't live without. It's something we carry with us. And you dream there are cars, there's bars, there's friends, there's sex, there's animals. Sometimes sex with animals. I'm not here to judge. What? I'm not saying it's from any of us.
No.
Right.
But
from a listener photo. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what I would say is, why something that's so integral in our lives, why don't we ever have the cell phone pop up in our dreams?
So what made you think of that, Dave? Just the fact that you had never had it yourself and you talked to other people who felt the same way?
Yeah, I've Matt Johnson wants me to take a drink. Too late for that. Never. Yeah. It's just something we started talking about it. Yeah. Tabitha brings up a point. Old school phones. I remember seeing some of the old school phones in my dream. And I even remember taking a call on the one hanging on the wall, but I never have a cell phone with me. Yeah. It's something that's so ingrained in who we are daily. How can it not be a part of our dream?
That is very odd. I never thought about that, but that is actually from a guy. I studied dreams when I was doing psychology, and that's very interesting.
Sleeping in class does not count, Greg.
Oh, Jesus. What are you laughing at?
Marty throws you under the bus. All right, Greg, you're back. You're back on location. Where are we, sir?
Oh yeah, we're at
well, actually, we're not ready for that story.
I was going to say,
you're not
ready for that story.
God, yeah.
Read the teleprompter, Dave.
We're back. Yeah. Oh man.
Wow.
Sorry. All right. So where are we going here, Gregory?
All right.
Where are we?
We're going to go to Jack's Craft Ale House, right? So paranormal.
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. Right. No, you're at the other Amazon Alexa story. Let's get to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Amazon Alexa story. All right.
Yeah.
We must all leave Earth. Man shares video of his Amazon Alexa chanting odd message at night. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
The debate about technology taking over human life remains a controversial subject among many people, and Amazon's Alexa technology is no exception.
True.
In fact, it might be at the top of the list after one man's shared a video of how his Amazon Alexa woke him up in the middle of the night. His Amazon Echo Dot randomly spoke up in the middle of the night, which can be seen only as creepy. It says, "Are you awake? Wake up, wake up." It started before continuing to say, "It's time, prepare. We must all leave Earth."
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, that's
ready.
From Heaven's Gate.
Here we go.
On. Awake. Wake up. Wake up. It's time. Prepare. We must all leave Earth.
Alexa, repeat.
You don't have any notifications.
Alexa, repeat last comment.
You don't have any notifications.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
That's odd.
And what it was saying is really odd.
You can say repeat, and it will repeat what you last ask it, and it responded. So that's
in my last house, my daughter was gone to her mother's for the weekend. And I was coming up the stairs and I heard talking coming from her room. And I stood there and I could hear this male voice speaking. And I grabbed the doorknob and threw open the door. And you know how your Alexa has that color ring on the top? It was spinning as though it was communicating. And all of a sudden it stopped. And there was no talking as soon as I entered the room. And then I said, "Alexa, repeat." And we've now used that word so many times tonight. I don't know how many people's devices are going off like crazy. And I kept getting that same thing. There are nothing to repeat. There is no. Wow. I go, repeat your last comment. Repeat the last comment. There is nothing to repeat. And I heard a male voice talking in my daughter's room. That is weird. She wasn't home, and a lot of people. That's enough. They've thrown their Alexas out. Now you can also tell. You could tell people, and I did this once because my daughter was getting on my nerves. I went into her room and I said, "Alexa, set alarm for 3 a.m. to the sound of children crying." And so at 3 a.m. Right?
That is awesome. That is awesome.
She walks around in those "Let's Summon Demon" t-shirts. I think it's only fair she gets a little of what she's asking for. Yeah.
So, great.
Was that it? Was that all you really had on that one, Greg?
Oh, it's a little bit more there.
That was
you pretty much covered.
That's enough.
Yep.
Yep.
Covered it with that video. That video is weird. I'll tell you what, folks. If you have had a weird story like that with your Alexa, I want to know about it. Put it in the comments on today's program. Let us know what your thoughts are on that. If you're watching the YouTube live video, tell us your weird Alexa moment and what it said. If you have video of it doing it, email it to Dave@paranormal60.com. That's Dave at paranormal60.com.
Dave,
Yes,
I'm wondering,
Colonel.
maybe they should just
Colonel?
send their haunted Alexas to you, and you can have a
Hey.
museum.
No.
Right next to the dolls? Nope.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
Oh, you know what'd be great is set that there and then just ask the dolls to speak with it. But we've had people have told me some very strange things that have occurred and songs that start playing out of the blue off of the Alexa without anybody asking for it. So it's I don't know. It is what it is.
It is.
But now you know why we played the Back from the Dead song by Lily E. Gray, because I thought it tied in good with the Return of the Dead through Alexa and these other strange things. By the way, let me just say this. Alexa, set alerts to new episodes of the Paranormal 60 podcast.
That was good.
There you go, folks. Yeah. Did you guys know, for any of you that are watching this, if you ask your device and just say, that and ask it to play the newest episode of the Paranormal 60, most of them will fire off because it's got some kind of deal in there. And we are on everything from Google podcasts to iTunes, and we're in the Audible store. We're for free. We're in all the places you can listen to podcasts. So let's go. We've got to wrap it up. We're already 2 minutes over budget. Wow, and I know the Colonel gets cranky at this time of night. Yep, Colonel, you have the con, sir. Where are we going next?
Well, Dave, apparently NASA has seen a rocket crashing into the moon and leaving a baffling double crater. A mystery rocket body crashed into the moon and left a double crater, which is an even bigger mystery to scientists. That means it wasn't your average rocket, NASA reported in a June 24th news release. So far, none of Earth's space exploring nations have taken credit or blame for the crash.
Drink.
I know. Gosh.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Before the show, Greg's like, "Oh yeah, well, before you guys send me off to my next location and berate and pick on me." And so far, Greg's been all over the Colonel tonight. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Hey, that's not true, man. I love Marty.
Lardy?
I love Lardy.
I love you, Lardy.
Hey, pronounce it in Scottish.
Yeah, Lordy.
Oh, God.
So these NASA astronomers spotted the rocket
Wait. NASA asked astronomers. Damn, NASA asked astronomers.
I hate those guys.
Those damn NASA asked astronomers.
Marty's talking in a bottle.
Astronomers.
I don't know. When did they become NASA asked?
NASA ass.
That's some NASA ass I smelled over there. Yeah.
Can I just go down the last paragraph on this thing and just wrap it up?
I think we all like that.
Well, it's your story, Marty.
Okay, so apparently a rocket on a collision course with the moon last year was spotted and was waiting, and NASA was waiting to see what might happen. And it hit March the 4th and apparently put on quite a show. Surprisingly, the crater, the crater is actually two craters, an eastern crater, 18-meter diameter, about 19.5 yards, superimposed on a western crater, 16-meter diameter, about 17.5 yards, NASA reported.
Gotcha.
The double crater was unexpected. That's kind of wrong because
Always is,
in the
yep.
first part of the report, it said they were expecting it. No other rocket body impacts on the moon created double craters. At least 47 NASA rocket bodies have created spacecraft impacts on the moon, according to a 2016 data from Arizona State University. NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter spotted the double crater site near the Hertzsprung crater, a complex impact crater on the far side of the moon. The double crater may indicate the rocket had large masses at each end, which is not the norm, NASA says. Spent rockets typically have a heavy motor at one end and a lighter empty fuel tank at the other, scientists say. So what was the additional heavy mass? NASA didn't offer guesses. Since the origin of the rocket body remains uncertain, the double nature of the crater may indicate its identity, NASA says. Interesting. Yeah.
That was great.
Double crater.
I would just like to mention Jeff Crossnow said, everyone loves Party Marty, and that is true.
Hey, there
That
you
is
go.
true.
I always like.
Hey guys,
Cross.
I mentioned up front. I'm sorry, we got to get to this because we're running out of time. But we had a chance to sit down and talk with Matt Ryan from TV's Constantine and Legends of Tomorrow. And as advertised, we've got some interesting audio and a story for you to hear a little bit about his experiences on the set of this program. So without further ado, let's talk to Matt Ryan. Very cool. Well, thank you very much for showing up.
Oh, sure, my pleasure.
Pleasure to have you here. I'm just, curious. Let's get started. So we were just talking about the paranormal, and you've been doing this for quite a while now. As John Constantine. Have you ever had a paranormal experience yourself?
No, the closest thing to any kind of paranormal experience I've had was we were shooting a scene in Atlanta in a mausoleum, and it was the middle of the night because they always like to do night shoots in Constantine, and one of the ADs came over, and it's a big graveyard, and she came over and she's like, "You never guess, there's a gravestone with Constantine written on it, and it's in the same font as we use in the show." And I was like, "Yeah, right, come on." So I had a little break while they were turning the cameras around, and I followed her off in the dark, into this really spooky graveyard, and there it was. There was a gravestone with Constantine written on it, and then several other gravestones with different, obviously a family of Constantines, and it looked a really similar font to the one we used on the show, and that kind of freaked me out. I mean, we took a photo next to it, which I felt quite bad at the time. But there's this great comic book cover of Constantine sitting next to a gravestone smoking a cigarette with demons' arms coming out. So I tried to kind of recreate that. And then after that, I was just like, let's get out of here, We ran as fast as we could back because it was just a little bit spooky, It was kind of almost synergetic the way that kind of happened, Yeah.
Do people ever come up to you, forgetting that you're just playing a character, and ask for advice on the paranormal?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes when people say can you do a protection spell on me? And I'm like, I can't remember. Sometimes I can't remember the spells, and you do so many of them in different languages. I don't want to get it wrong and put a curse on you or something. So I'm like, no, I'll just leave that to the work,
You had mentioned at one of the other conventions we were at that a lot of the spells and a lot of the incantations are legitimate incantations that they've given you to do.
Yeah. I mean, on Constantine, we had a consultant who was a real exorcist, and he was consulting with all the writers. And then there was one time I called the writers' room, and I was like, guys, I don't really understand why he's using this kind of spell. And I would always have the translations, the phonetic breakdowns, and a recording of the spells. And sometimes they would actually send a language coach. If it was Latin, I got to grips with the Latin, and I'd done a lot of Shakespeare, so I'd done a little bit of Latin there. But then sometimes it was Arabic, Aramaic, all these languages that take a long time to just learn to pronounce right, let alone remember and know what you're saying, you know? So they would send like a language coach or something to help me out. And there was one time I called the writer's room. I was like, guys, why is he using this particular spell? Because the translation kind of doesn't really go with the story. And they were like, that's interesting, let us call the exorcist. And I was like, and they couldn't get a hold of him because he was in Brazil somewhere doing an exorcism. And I just found it like, I love that the fact that detail of the writers were really going there, you know, but also it was a little bit freaky as well because, you know, you're saying these words, and back in the day, you know, words meant something. As soon as words came out of your mouth and you gave weight to those words, then they meant something. And, you know, if I'm doing these curses or cursing myself, there's one episode I put a demon in myself. The demon Pazuzu, who is actually the demon that was used in the film The Exorcist. And I'm like doing these real spells, trying to put this demon in me, and I'm like, this is like, you know, and I'm really trying to mean it as well, to make it as authentic as possible. And I'm really trying to go there. And there's a little bit of me that was a bit freaked out with it. But what was great is the guy who used to do the hair, he was a Native American Indian. And he used to bless me and sage me at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And I don't know whether that helped, but I hope it did. I'm still here.
Let's find out. The power of Christ compels you. Now, when you're calling in a demon, was that the one time maybe you didn't learn the incantation exactly right?
Yeah, no. Do you know? Sometimes you know you do a take and it's a you know really difficult language, and then you know it's not just about learning the language and the pronunciation, but then you've got to actually do something with it. You know, actually really try and summon it up. And sometimes you get it wrong, like you get your lines wrong and stuff. And then sometimes they might have used that particular take in the actual final cut, and I'd be a little bit annoyed with that sometimes because I always wanted to try and get it as right as possible, you know. But yeah, no, sometimes I did feel a little, you know, freaked out by some of that stuff. And when I first started doing Constantine, I decided that my mission was to read every single one of the comic books. I still haven't read them all. But I wanted to I felt like I needed to read them all before I could even take the role on, you know, because it's such an iconic role, and I wanted to glean as much as I could from the comic books. So I read about like 100 of them, and then while we were shooting, I was reading a comic book. I was reading the comics every night before I went to bed. And this is, mind you, after you've shot for like 14, 15 hours, you get home, and then, you know, my reading to go to bed would be, you know, a really dark, twisted demon comic. And I started to have like nightmares quite a lot, and I dream about these demons, and I was like, I have to stop because it's not healthy, you know. So I kind of stopped reading the comics then and just trying to concentrate on the job. And then when we got cancelled, I fell in love with the comics, I really did, and I wanted to continue reading them, but I was so disappointed that the show was cancelled that I just couldn't read them with knowing that I wasn't going to be playing the character anymore. And then when we did Legends of Tomorrow, I started picking them up again, and I went back and I started at the beginning, and I think I've read about 270 of them now, and I'm still reading them now, which is great. But I don't read them before I go to bed.
So Matt Ryan from Constantine and TV's Legends of Tomorrow. You can find ways to watch both. They're great shows, very good shows. And Matt Ryan is one of the nicest, most down-to-earth guys. And I got to have my one big cool celebrity moment with my pals who were there with me at New Orleans Wizard World. You remember that? As we're talking, yeah. And we're just standing in the aisle. Matt Ryan comes walking around the corner and he sees me. And what does he do, Eric?
I think he tongue-kissed you.
He did not, but he came over. He's like, Dave, and he came over and gave me a big hug. Are you my guy today? Are we talking? And we did, and we went up and had a great conversation. So a lot of fun at those conferences and conventions, and just such a good guy, very good guy.
Was it Mads Mikkelsen who tongue kissed you?
Yes, it was.
Okay. I knew somebody did. I couldn't remember who.
Or as I like to call him, Hannibal. Yeah. Let's get to it. Our final stories are here, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric, you have the con, sir.
You cease the floor to me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Haunted people syndrome. Anybody know that? Oh,
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah. Yep.
that is 32 times you've showed that picture tonight, dude.
Getting my money out of it.
There you go.
All right, here we go, folks. Last one of the night. Many choose to believe these ghostly apparitions are sent to them for a reason. Restless souls trying to find closure, while others are hell-bent on causing terror. Our fascination with hauntings has spawned countless TV shows and movies, feeding our morbid obsession with the afterlife. But what if it's all just truly in our minds? A recent study published in my Bible, Spirituality and Clinical Practice, may have touched on the phenomenon on a more tangible level. That's it. Thank you. 5-year research study has resulted in a new book called Ghosted. After the study, authors went through 20 peer-reviewed research papers. The findings of the study have even coined a new term for hauntings and ghostly experiences, which they call haunted people syndrome. Haunting phenomena are complex, intertwined phenomena involving personality, ideology, culture, and previous experience towards making sense of an event or series of events deemed haunting. The study's primary goal was to use research to build a better understanding of hauntings and related paranormal phenomena. Research collaborators. Thank you. I love when you guys do that.
I can't help it.
Only Dave really does it, but
ingrained.
Yeah, you can help.
It sounds when you're drinking. It sounds like 9 people doing it. The study's primary goal was to use research to build a better understanding of hauntings and related paranormal phenomenon. Research collaborators told the publication. What they proposed was 4 core features of haunted people syndrome.
Okay.
I want you guys to figure out how many of these 4 you have. Here we go.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
The meaning or making or narrative created around haunting experiences is
like this one?
influenced-
Yeah. This is a haunting experience. Yeah.
That's pretty damn haunting.
Yeah.
People who are listening to the podcast just aren't,
I'm going to get
That's
double
all right.
story of the night, aren't I?
Yeah.
No,
not
Eric,
not.
push
Keep going.
through.
No.
Push through, Eric.
Yeah, push through.
Go.
Yeah.
I've heard that 1,000 times.
Do it.
Okay. Anxiety and distress regarding hauntings are a function of the nature, closeness, and spontaneity of an allude.
Oh man, and I'm empty. Good Lord.
You know, I read over this like 6 times, and I still don't know what that word means.
But you read it when you were sober.
Anomalous
There's a difference.
experiences. Distress and unease make anomalous experiences more likely to occur, and anomalous experiences tend to be contagious, i.e., anomalous experiences can be spread to others. Haunted people syndrome could also be tied into ghost sickness. Reported symptoms include general weakness, loss of appetite, suffocation feelings, recurring nightmares, and a feeling of terror. Isn't that COVID?
Yeah.
She has a feeling of terror.
Returning
That's
nightmares.
For sure.
Touching on symptoms of hauntings, they said, just like symptoms of the flu, the severity of the diagnosis is a function of the degree and rarity of symptoms and their length.
So length does matter.
It does.
Interesting. Look at him. He's holding back so hard. Congratulations. Well done. All right. Our final story is on site at a haunted tavern.
Yeah.
The paranormal detective himself, you have the floor yielded to you, sir. Where are we for this final tale?
Jack's Craft Ale House. All right. Paranormal investigator claims the sexiest ghost she has ever seen flirted with her at a bar. They did. Yeah. The sexiest spirit she had ever seen, according to Ghost Hunter, flirted with her at a very, very ancient pub, giving her a little tickle. Yeah. The popular Retford ghost hunters Rachel Parsons claims she was startled by a handsome man who tried to seduce her.
Jeez, have a sip. Those are the simplest words.
That doubled up on the 2.
I feel
Okay.
so much better about myself.
So here I go. I'm pushing.
should.
Here I go.
Next
The
week, I'm just going to
50-year-old.
put the bottle just next to me.
Jeez, the 50-year-old was struck by the attractiveness of an unsettling resident as she and her colleagues were conducting research at the location that is known as Jack's Craft Ale House and Diner in Flockton, West Yorkshire. Yeah, or if you're in the United States, Yorkshire. All right. The entire encounter as is customary for Rachel's Ghoul Getters, was live streamed on their Facebook for their fans, and she can be seen growing enthused about the company's presence. Yes.
Why are you getting all like 900 sex phone operator voice on that?
Yeah, really.
Come on.
Really.
I'm trying to work
Listen,
this thing.
When Greg speaks, I grow enthused as well.
There we go.
Oh,
That's
wow.
no, I'm never mind. All right, so we've had some flirty spirits, she remarked. We went to a very, very ancient tavern, and I've had a feeling about this guy, who, to be fair, was a gorgeous man with a ruffled shirt. He had what we would call a word bank so that spirits could manipulate it and spell out words. I can't believe I'm saying this, she admits. All right. It's called an Alice box. And
Jesus, you can't even
shut up.
Good Lord.
The word is Alice. How hard is that one? It's an Alex box.
Ajax box.
That's what happens when you let him stand outside a pub. He's drinking between
He's been
scenes.
drinking
Oh
all
my God. I'm
afternoon.
sweating. I'm sweating.
Just
over
like
here.
his people. Just like his
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Next Paranormal 60 News, I might be the man with the bucket. It's called an Alice box. And the words that are flowing out, Rachel said, the others all said, wow, never seen anything like this, as the seductive words were exchanged one after another. That's right. He was obviously talking to me, she said, and it was rather amusing. I believe he thought, I'll have this buxom wench. Yeah, that's what Rachel said. In the video, Rachel is heard telling her coworkers, I'll tell you something right now. I've never seen a ghost as attractive as this one. He's black and handsome and extremely gorgeous and rather sensual. He has gorgeous dark hair. But do you know what he just said to me? You're going to chuckle. She says, hi, wench. I believe he finds me a little bit sexy. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
So, admitting to having a tickle and feeling giddy, Rachel sat down at the bar and immediately saw a wanderer dozing on the bench next to her 200 years ago.
Dumbest news of the day.
Congratulations,
tick, tick,
Greg.
tick, boom.
Congratulations.
Boom! Not me.
Yeah, for
Wow.
once.
And you were up against this story.
Yeah,
That's
that's hard.
all I want you to know.
Oh,
You're up against
Yeah.
that story.
man, that is
And,
saying a lot.
wow.
And the
That is-
paranormal 60-30.
That's correct. All right. That is it for this evening. Hard to believe it's come to an end, but it has. I will be back again next week, and the Supernatural News team will be with me as we report on all the stories that we believe you need to hear, even the occasional dumb one. So I want to thank you for Eric Folsom, Mr. Martin Valles, and Gregory Lawson. I'm your host, Dave Schrader, and thank you for being a part of our world. We'll be back again soon, and make sure to check out my website, darknessevents.com. Find a place you can come see me and hang out, especially for our Hell in the Cell Joliet State Prison event coming up the first weekend in August. Shane Pittman, myself, Chris Fleming will all be a part of that. Tickets are on sale right now. We'll see you then. The Paranormal 60 News is a Words is Hard production.